Okay, welcome to DestroyerAlive number 98, and it's another episode in English.
Yes, a lot of fun to pay attention a little bit to all the people all over the world that doesn't understand Norwegian and Swedish. So we're doing this episode. And today we have a very special guest. Who is it?
Our favorite guest.
Yeah, it is.
A real friend to both me and Alexander in the podcast. It's Dennis Woloch.
Yeah, he's a master of great stories, I guess. And I find myself not talking too much in this episode. And it's just nice to hear Dennis talking about all this stuff. Yeah.
And this time we went a little bit off the beaten path, so it's not that too much about the album covers. It's like everything else.
Yes, a lot of. I mean, he was present at a lot of photo sessions, and we're talking about the tour books, the work that he did, and yeah, a lot of that stuff, and some of the merchandising and some of that stuff. So there's a lot bit off the limit, so to speak, and it's it was a lot of fun.
So enjoy a long podcast with Dennis Woloch.
Say when.
Okay, Dennis, welcome back to DestroyerAlive. It's been 2.5 years since the last time we recorded.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time is going
fast.
fast.
And I met Dennis last year in New York, so that was 2017. I met Dennis in New York.
That's right, Alexander, and Rustak.
Yeah, you remember his name, my dad's name? Wow, that's great. Yeah.
This time we were thinking about talking a little about all the stuff we didn't manage to talk about last time. Last time we didn't talk about all the albums either because you were going to the expo, but then you hurt your back. No, you didn't hurt your back, but you didn't heal.
No, I had a bad back, and I had a surgery. I talked to the doctor, and he said you need some surgery, and I said I have this appointment in September to do a Kiss expo in Sweden.
Yeah.
And I told him the date, and he said, you should do the surgery. If you do the surgery now, if we schedule it 3 weeks from now, and you do it, you're going to have so many weeks to recover. He said, you'll be as good as new. You won't. You should do it now and have it taken care of.
Yeah.
I said, this is a surgery that you're going to heal quick. You'll be walking around good as new, no pain. I said, you convinced me. So I did the surgery, and it was like I was in so much pain after that surgery.
No.
And I never really recovered right fast enough. So when the expo was coming around, I mean, I had to fly out of here on a Thursday, and I remember that Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I was still shopping for little toilet articles, for shaving and stuff that, travel size, little things, And I went to the drugstore, and I thought I was going to collapse on the street.
Wow.
And that's when I knew I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I said, I have to cancel it today. And I said, I'm going to disappoint these guys because it's only 3 days or 4 days before I'm supposed to be there. And believe me, you don't know how bad I felt. You don't know how bad I felt.
No, I understand that.
I couldn't do it.
No. It's too bad because it was a great expo.
It's a shame. I feel like I missed a nice opportunity to travel a little bit and meet some people, but
yeah, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah,
I hate the doctor. I gave him a lot of shit. Believe me. I went follow-up visits. How do you feel now? I said I feel terrible.
Yeah.
He said I'm perplexed and disappointed. I said you.
Yeah.
The last time we touched upon it because you told us about when you placed the logo on Peter's drum on the Fillmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what else do you remember about the rehearsals at the Fillmore? Because I've spoke to Vincent, and he told me that you actually saw some of the rehearsals.
He did?
Yeah.
I don't remember him being there, but if you said he was there, he was there.
Yeah.
But I remember when I went down to that rehearsal, Bill Aucoin came into the art department, where I'm sitting at my drawing table, and he had the Kiss logo in his hand.
Yeah.
A little plastic cutout, sparkles on it, And he said, Dennis, can you come to the downtown later to the Fillmore? And, these guys, they were so new at the time with us.
Yeah.
Hardly knew their names even, these guys, the band that I'm going to represent, whatever. And can you come down and glue this on the bass drum?
Yeah.
And I said, they asked me why, because I'm the art guy and I know how to glue things. I said, sure, why not? It sounds like interesting anyway. So I went out, I bought some 5-minute epoxy, A and B mixed together, 5 minutes. And I went down there, and there was a lot of things I remember about that night. First of all, it was very cold.
Yeah.
In the Fillmore. It was an empty space that was not really being used for much anymore. I don't think they had the heat on in there. And I went down and had my overcoat. I didn't know what to do with it. There was a room backstage, off the stage, and it was like an old dressing room, really a mess. There was nothing in it. It was just walls painted this ugly institutional green,
Mm-hmm.
and but graffiti everywhere, every square inch. Somebody wrote something, and I think it was all the bands and people who had played on that. If I only had time to sit and read all of it, oh my God, would have been some history there. Or if I could get a saw and cut out the wall and take it home, But I threw my overcoat on the bench. Then I went back and I went upstairs in the balcony because there was a table up there. And I took the drum head and I took the logo and I mixed up the glue. And I remember very cold. My hands were cold. Then I glued it on and gave it to somebody, and they put it on the drum head. And they did the rehearsal, which was like 3 songs, maybe 4 songs, And Neil Bogart was there.
Yeah.
Bill Aucoin.
Was Sean? Was Sean?
Maybe. I saw a picture of one of those rehearsals, and I think Sean was in the picture.
Yeah, he was sitting in the front, looking if they were doing the right things.
That's the photo I saw.
Yeah.
I don't remember Sean being there unless there was more than one rehearsal, and I only went to one. Down there.
I think they actually rehearsed there for almost a month or something like that.
I only went there for one of the very first ones. It may have been the first one. And
what's the place as run down as it looks, or it looks really rough in the pictures.
It was yeah. They probably didn't really take care of it even while it was being used.
No.
They just probably put bands on stage, turned on the sound equipment, and sold tickets.
Yeah.
There was no impetus to make it beautiful or anything.
No.
It was just sell the tickets, bring the big name acts in here, and we'll have a concert. So.
But it's strange because they used the same place for the press performance they did in January.
Yeah, you got me there, boy. I don't know. I wasn't there.
No.
But I told you my little thing I had with Gene.
Yeah.
No, I told you that, right?
Yeah.
Did I say that the last one?
I don't remember.
The thing was over. They were done playing, and now they're just standing around on the stage, casual. And I go in the back room to get my overcoat. It's not there. I don't know where it could be. I just put it there. There's nothing else in there. So I walk up to Gene because I know they were in there.
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, excuse me, did you see my overcoat? I left it right there on the bench." And he looks at me like right in the eye. He goes, "I don't care."
that was that the first real interaction you had with them?
Probably. Probably the first words I ever exchanged with him.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, one of the first times I wanted to punch Gene. That was a couple of times.
Did it take a long time before you saw them live, or?
You mean in a real show?
Yeah, did you see it before you made any covers for them?
Oh, no.
No?
No. I saw that rehearsal. I saw the thing at the Letang Dance Studio.
Yeah.
That was the very first time, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Very first. And because we were sitting right next to them. I mean, you could touch them.
Yeah.
Just a room with little folding chairs. No space between them and the audience. The audience was what? 12 of us, maybe.
When you saw them rehearsing, were they with or without makeup at the Fillmore?
Oh, with.
With at the Fillmore. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because
the costumes being, homemade looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two pairs of black nylon stockings.
Yeah.
Ladies' pantyhose or whatever they were.
Yeah.
But that was it. It was interesting.
Yeah. But they didn't shock you as much as they did at Letang then.
Letang was more of a shock because I was right on top of them. I had never seen them before.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea. I think the only warning I got was from Bill. He said they're loud. They're going to be loud.
Yeah.
All right. And but then I see the painted faces, and Gene is such a over the top actor.
Yeah.
That and I'm going like that, in my chair. So, what the hell am I looking at here? What is this? It's not what you expect when you see a rock and roll band.
No.
And back in those days. So I was cool. I didn't know what to say about it, really. If you asked me, I said, yeah, they were kind of scary.
Yeah.
They were a little scary, intimidating. But I don't remember one song. I don't know what the hell they sang. I just remember them and the noise. I was just kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to Jeanette, Ace's first girl, his wife, I guess, became.
So they didn't ask you to do the first promo poster then. The first thing was the event poster you made that they reused for a lot of shows.
Right, that was the first. I think if it wasn't, it's very close to the first, professional job I did for them.
Mm.
I might have done some little things that were insignificant that they needed done, but that was the first thing that was sort of. A piece of, ephemera, as what we call today. A poster to the promoters.
And I remember you also told me about the shirt that you did, right? The Spring Tour 75 shirt. You told me about that.
Oh, yeah. You mean that one I was wearing, right? And
yeah, exactly. You made that pretty...
Is that artwork based on that first promo poster or not?
I think both of them have the faces from the first album cover.
From first album, yeah, right. When I hired that illustrator, I did the normal thing we do. We looked through our Illustrator annual, like a directory of talent. We had a thing then called the Creative Black Book.
Yeah. And
people buy advertising in there. That was a great idea, whoever came up with that, those people. It was really, really good, and because we all used it. And I found a guy who had this nice black and white, crisp, clean style, and I said, that's what I need. I don't want a photo. Photos get messed up. People reprint them. They get worse and worse and worse, So I said, if it's nice and crisp black and white. And so I hired him. His name was Vincent Petroniani, with a silent G in there, Petroniani. And Vincent did a great job. He also did a logo for that was never used. He gave me a couple of them for Wings over America. Paul McCartney's.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, I asked him to do some things for me on that, and he did a great job. But I guess Paul or whoever was giving the okay didn't okay them, but they were nice. So he did a great job on the first promo poster for us. I had the logo done in that metal, air metal. Try to do something a little different, you know. And back in '74, I guess that was kind of cool.
Yeah, but that's if you've seen on the first promo poster, I have a real bad version. It's a little of the same there also.
Same logo, and I don't remember doing that poster, but
could you have done this one?
You know, I guess we did. Does it say O'Coin at the bottom and all of that?
No, just not just Casablanca. But this is.
It's very possible that that was done elsewhere.
Yeah.
They just took our art and they put it together. That's, for a while, I was doing everything in the beginning, but then very quickly, Bill, I guess they would just think, well, you know, let's just have the record company do it, or let's hire a merchandising company. And Dennis sent some of the artwork to the merchandising company, and then they would do things with it. So sometimes I was designing, sometimes I wasn't.
But the first cover you did was Alive, and we spoke about that the last time. But what was the next one? Did you do Destroyer or the originals first after that?
The originals came out right around then, you're saying, right? Being Alive and Destroyer?
I think so.
Yeah, it did. It did.
I'm not really sure if it came out right after Destroyer, but around the same time as Destroyer, I think.
Yeah. Somebody gave me these little cards. You know these?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
And he gave me just only the ones that I designed. That's the ones I had.
Yeah.
He wanted to do an interview with me. Actually, he did a long taped interview with me. He was going to sell it as an audio CD.
Okay.
I said, all right, I'll do it with you. You know, it's harmless. If it makes $1, what the heck? And then we did it on the phone.
Yeah.
And the audio quality was so poor that he said, I can't really clean it up. I can't sell it this way. It's not good enough. Let's do a book. I said, I don't need you to do a book with me.
No.
So I can do a book by myself. I don't need a partner.
Exactly.
And he got real quiet on the phone. And I never heard from him again. I wasn't rude.
No.
But I said, well, why? I don't need another person to do a book. I'm going to sit there and write it.
Yeah.
You know, unless you know a publisher that's going to publish it for me, okay. But so still have the tape recordings here. But what am I looking at? Oh, the originals.
The originals.
Yeah. And this says. It doesn't even have a date.
Yeah.
Destroyer released March 1976.
Yeah.
And the originals released in 76. Okay.
Yeah.
Shortly after Destroyer.
Shortly after Destroyer. Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So I think, and again, I think I do remember doing Destroyer next anyway. And then the originals, right? So.
What do you remember of doing the originals?
You know, I was trying to think of that the other day. I don't think it was my idea to do a big bomb on the front cover. It doesn't sound like me.
No.
Thinking back, would I come up with that? I don't think so. But
it looks cool, but in some way, like you using a nuclear explosion, it's kind of tasteless in one way also. When you think about what it really is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bomb, the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killing millions of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably just a test out in the desert.
Yeah. Sure.
But but it's a weapon of mass destruction. It's I don't know. So I don't think it was my idea. Somebody said, "Hey, get a bomb, do an explosion or something." And like very often I would just cringe when I heard somebody else's bad idea. But back in those days, no computers.
No.
We had stock photo agencies that would sell photography of all subject matter.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of them in New York. So I went down to one of them, which one I don't remember. I called them on the phone first, and I said, I need pictures of atomic bomb explosions. And they had it ready for me. When I got down there, they have transparencies, mostly, big transparencies. Sometimes the little slide size, but they have big light tables set up, magnifying glasses. You go in, you sign, you sit down. They have a stack of things in front of you. And spend all day, hour after hour. No, maybe, no. Then you go through all the maybes again, you know. And that's how I got that picture. The funny thing is when I got the picture, and I wanted to superimpose their faces on it.
Yeah.
So I took that photo with them, their faces, and I'm looking at this little card now. And I didn't do any extra manipulation of the photo.
No.
But if you look at Gene, it looks like the fire is coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, and I'm on the light box moving the picture of Kiss over the picture of the explosion, trying to find a good place to put it, to give it to the photo lab so they can make one out of it.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, look what's happening. Fire coming out of Gene's mouth. Says right there. That's good. And so that's how that happened.
But was it your idea with the fold up, how they place the albums inside and stuff?
Yeah. I guess that has that little brown book. Right?
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, and so we tried to make that. We did it in sepia.
Yeah.
To make it historic.
Yeah. And it also had the Kiss Army sticker. And I remember when I met you, it also had the Kiss Army sticker in it. The Kiss Army one. And when I met you, when I met you in New York, you told me the story about how you came up with the Kiss Army logo. Yeah. That I have here, by the way.
I can tell you that again.
Yeah, if you want, because I don't remember from what. Yeah.
I had a problem with Vinny on that one, so.
Yeah.
But well, we had the idea for the booklet. I got one of Gene has scrapbooks. I'm going back to the booklet now for a minute, but Gene has scrapbooks, and we went through the scrapbooks and found one of his original posters that they would put up for the show at the Hotel Diplomat, the free show that they would do before Bill Twine found it. So I found one of those. I made
this one or?
That's it. Oh, is that it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's one of them. It's a repro. It's not real.
Well, Vinny and I took a copy. We ripped it or something. We took it outside in New York, and we stuck it on a lamppost, like a firebox or whatever's there. And we took a photo of it, like as though it were done back in 1973. But it was us recreating it, one day, the Kiss Army logo. So one day I was out of the office, which I was a lot because I was busy and doing things with photographer or illustrator or meeting someplace, doing research. So I was in and out a lot. Vinny was there because he was a staff artist, really. My assistant. That's why I hired him. I was busy, and I needed somebody to do all that kind of work that I didn't want to do.
Yeah,
really, and that was fine with Vinny. So, but I came in and I saw him working on something. I said, "What are you working on?" He said, "Well, there's a job, the logo for the fan club, Kiss Army."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, why are you doing it? I assigned the work.
Yeah.
I get the jobs. I look at the jobs. I say, Vinny, do these 3. I'll do this one. And that's the way the life works in the agency, He was doing it. So I said, that's great. I said, but I'm going to design that. I said, I like your idea with the sergeant stripes. He was doing like on tracing paper with a pencil.
Yeah.
Drawing the chevrons that you would see on the shoulder of a rank of a soldier. I said, I like that idea of making it look like a military patch. I said, but I'm going to design it. So he very sheepishly, and I remember this as clear as a bell because of the emotions that I was feeling and that I think he was feeling. But very sheepishly, I said, let me have your sketches. You know, there was nothing to them, but I said, let me have them. And he took his tracing paper and he handed it to me like this, you know, with the face. Oh, okay. And I took it and I sat there, and then I really, it took me 2 days at least, doing the lettering. You know, he didn't have any lettering on his army lettering on his sketches. He didn't do that at all. He just had these shapes, you know, working on it, you know. So it was really nowhere except army concept, but design-wise, it was nowhere. So I took it for 2 days. But then I sat facing each other at our drawing table, but we had a little barrier thing, which is like a cork board where we would hang things up. So if we want to talk to each other, we'd have to look under it or stand up and go over it. Or go around the side, you know, or go around the side. But we're only 3.5 feet away from each other. So the whole time I'm doing it, because I felt so guilty of taking the job away from him, that he probably wanted to do and show how that he could design something, you know. I felt so guilty that during my whole process, I kept holding it up and saying, Vin, do you think I should put 2 lines here or one big fat one? And he'd give me his opinion. It didn't matter to me what he was saying to me, you understand?
Yeah.
He's only doing it to keep him involved.
Yeah.
Should this be red or yellow, Vinny? Or this could be red and that could be yellow. What do you think? Oh, I don't know. You know, he'd give me an answer. Mm-hmm. And so, and then I would do the lettering, and that was hard for me because I'm not a letterer, but I did it. And I could tell you the equipment I used, the kind of paper, practically the brand names of everything. So I did it. It was done, and that was it.
And when was this? Was this like early '76 or something? And when was this?
That's a great question, but it was obviously, before Destroyer because it appeared inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere in between when the fan club started to get hot, the request came in, hey, the fan club could, you know, maybe we should do a logo for the fan club because they're calling themselves the Kiss Army.
Yeah.
They said it would be a good opportunity maybe to give them a logo.
Yeah.
All right. So that's...
And the band is still using this logo to this day. So how does that feel? That is, you know, how does it feel? They're using it, you know.
If I had a nickel for every...
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You know, I was a worker for hire.
Yeah, of course.
But believe me, I noticed everything.
Get one thing.
Yeah. But then, you know, I have it on my arms, you know. You should be proud of that.
I know. It's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, I noticed that most of the imagery that Kiss uses, you know, for promotion and merchandise and stuff, is the stuff that we did back before I left. Yeah. All the album covers after that are they're just not that hot, you know.
No,
Michael Sonic Boom is pretty good, but that's because it's so graphic. But still, not as good as the other stuff.
No, but it's also like that. The old stuff is iconic, so it's a little like Paul Stanley says with new songs. Also, he can write as many new songs as he want to. People still want to hear Love Gun, so it's.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And you know, we're all like that, right? We all like that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to touch upon is like. You have this great picture of you and Vincent from backstage.
One of his children.
Yeah, backstage at Jersey City.
Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City.
What do you remember of that concert?
Oh, I remember Bob Seger opened for Kiss.
Yeah.
Hey, good old Bob. You know, he's He's a good act. Nice and basic. I like that stuff.
Mm.
Bill O'Coin wanted to have a like an Italian street fair vibe to the whole thing. You know, here in New York and New Jersey, where we have large Italian populations in some neighborhoods, there are feast days of certain saints, right?
Yeah.
So we have a big one down in Greenwich Village, which originally was an Italian neighborhood. Still a little bit, but in the old days, it was all Italian down there. Like The Godfather, where The Godfather comes from.
Yeah.
And they had, and matter of fact, in The Godfather, there is a scene of the San Gennaro feast.
Yeah.
San Gennaro. So we have feast days and saint feast days, and they have all the food vendors and the Italian sausages and these things called zeppola. You know zeppola? It's a piece of like dough.
Okay.
They throw in a big vat of boiling oil, you know, take it out, then they throw it in a paper bag with the powdered sugar, and you shake it up, and you have fried dough with sugar on it.
Okay, cool.
And then you go to the emergency room.
Okay.
But it's delicious, you know. And so these are the Italian feasts that we have here. I remember as a kid in New Jersey, we had them. And so Bill wanted to have that kind of a thing backstage.
Yep.
There's an area back there. You know, this is an outdoor open venue. So behind the stage was a big area. And we had the Italian hot dogs and the Italian sausages and the Zeppola man and I don't know, whatever else was there. It wasn't huge. It was like a couple of food trucks and, you know. And so it was fun. So he tried to create that. That's fun. And that's about all I remember. I watched Kiss, but, you know, it's like you're watching them and then you're talking to your friend and you're watching them. And it was very, very loose. Also, not particularly sold out, I don't think. It's a big place.
Just when you look at the picture, it looks like the stage is really high.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It was elevated, but I don't know how high, really. Maybe the angle. I don't know.
It could be.
Not hugely high.
No?
I guess if I stood next to it, maybe I'd have to put my hand all the way up to reach it.
Yeah, that
9 or 10 feet.
That's a little higher than stages usually are.
Yeah. It was a nice venue. It was nice.
And it was filmed as well. So
in those days.
Yeah. Yeah. As Alexander says, the film.
I took that picture. He sent it to me.
Yeah.
I forgot who it is now. Who sent it? He said, Dennis, I was looking through my things and I found this picture from. I was so happy to see that picture because we didn't really take enough pictures. There's not that many of all the years of me with the band. I didn't think to take pictures or have somebody take pictures, you know. So.
No, but that's how it is when, especially before you had a camera on your phone. It's like you.
Oh, that's right.
When you're living it, you forget to take pictures of it.
Absolutely, and it's not as special as it is later on in life.
No.
And I wish I had pictures, you know, but while you're in it, working, it's like, kiss again.
Yeah. Another thing, I think I read somewhere that you were at the rock and roll tour rehearsals. Okay, am I correct?
What rehearsal?
When they did the rock and roll over tour rehearsals up somewhere in the Reading Armory or something like that.
In Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was in a military hangar, you know, or armory.
Yeah.
And it was outside of Boston, someplace, one of the suburban towns. What they were doing up there was they were videotaping.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen
songs for Don Kirshner's rock concert.
Yeah, and I think they were taking a lot of pictures also.
I don't remember too much about that.
No?
But this was the sole purpose of that. because they were booked to be on Don Kirshner's rock concert.
Yeah.
Bill O'Coin, very smart, said, we can never get the full Kiss effect in the television studio with the special effects that we use. The cameramen aren't great. The director, who knows what the director is going to be doing, you know, focusing on one guy when he should be focusing on somebody else. So Bill wanted to control that situation.
Yeah.
So they videotaped 2 songs to be shown on Don Kirshner's rock concert. And of course, the way it was shown on TV was you wouldn't have known that it was pre-recorded, really.
No.
So Don Kirshner said, here they are, Kiss.
Yeah.
And it was fade from his face to Kiss. And it looked like, oh, it's happening now.
Yeah.
Videotape. So that's what that was all about. We had a lot of downtime, a lot of waiting around. You know, if you've ever been on a professional shoot, video, or even still, a lot of waiting. A lot of waiting around.
What did you do there? Were you just there to watch, or did you do anything special?
They considered me an important person in their visual presentation of everything, and I guess they just thought the more experience I would have, the better off maybe I would be able to, you know, do my job for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably all it was. Dennis, you're invited. You go. You know, go to this, go to that. I didn't do anything.
No.
I observed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sat with Gene on one of those big cases, you know, equipment cases, while we're waiting for lights to be moved around or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Gene and I kind of more or less had one of our better moments together.
Yeah.
And we're talking and chatting, and they came around to old cartoons, Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he ended up on Beaky Buzzard. Beaky Buzzard. He wasn't a real famous cartoon, but there was a few of them. And he was a little baby buzzard, but he was stupid,
Yeah.
you know. And he had the big beak, and he had an Adam's apple that stuck out, you know. And his mother would send him out to go get a bumblebee so they could eat it or something. And he would fly real slow, like slow motion. And he would say, do-dum, dee-dum, dee-dum. While he was flying. I'm looking for a baby bumblebee. So Gene and I were singing the song together.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we could remember from the lyrics, you know. And so we're laughing and remembering a little Beaky Buzzard, you know. So that was nice. I had a nice memory of that. The only other memory that I remember was afterwards, we went back to the hotel. And there's a bar area in the hotel.
Yeah.
Boston still has these what they call blue laws, which means they don't sell liquor after a certain time, and the stores and the bars have to close at a certain time. And I wasn't used to that. New Yorkers, forget about it, you know, anytime. But I used to drink a lot. So I have my drink, and I drink it again, and I drink it again. I didn't think they were very good drinks. So I was drinking a lot, and I wasn't feeling that much. I started ordering doubles. Then give me 2 doubles, you know, so I could spare myself getting up and walking up to the bar. So I got the waitress. I said, give me a triple. Give me 3 triples. You know, she said, we're closing. You know, it's going to be last call.
Yeah.
Last call. 10 minutes. I said, last call for what? Last call for alcohol. I said, oh, no. I'm doomed. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I can't even get drunk. At that point, I was pretty bored. I was getting a little drunk with my friends, you know. And you know, they refused to give me the drinks that I was ordering because they didn't like the idea of me ordering triples and give me 3 of them at once, you know.
No.
So I drank as much as I could.
And
Not too much effect.
So,
But that was my trip up there to whatever the name of that town was. It was for Don Kirshner's rock concert.
The only Reading Armory, Camp Curtis.
Oh, okay.
So
if it's the same thing we're talking about.
Yeah, I think so. It was in November also, so it actually was pretty cold, I think.
And Ace played a double neck guitar, right?
Yeah.
Came around behind him.
Yeah.
And played one of the necks.
Yeah. There's an incredible picture of Gene from where he has the mic stand in his mouth.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool. After that, one album cover we haven't spoken about. I don't think you did it either, Alexander, when you were in New York. The Love Gun album cover.
I don't know. I don't remember talking about it with Alex or not. Maybe we did. Maybe I don't remember. But
I think we talked about the logo on the inner sleeve. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Possibly because I turned the conversation that way.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I don't think you had the cover video.
Right.
You had a lot of albums, but
but not Love Gun. That's right.
Yeah. Love Gun. First of all, I didn't want to use Ken Kelly again.
No.
So we had Destroyer, then Rock and Roll Over, and then they wanted to use Ken Kelly again. And I said, well, no, let's use him. I love him. I said, but can't we do another album, at least one more in between? It's too close to the other one. I like to mix it up, give them a lot of visual, variety. And they shot me down. They talked me into it. Now you got to use them again. They love Destroyer so much, I guess.
Yeah.
So I said, fine. One idea I wanted to do was, and this Love Gun did grow from this idea, even though Ken sometimes will say, well, Destroyer was all Dennis, but Love Gun was all me.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly. It was much more, Ken, that's for sure. But my original idea, and I'm actually thinking of printing something out and holding it up for you, but if I can, I will. Or maybe you have it somewhere.
Well, you're thinking about the sketch?
The very first sketch idea for Love Gun. My idea was the backstage door of a theater where when the concert is over, or the play.
This one?
That's it. That's it. So when the play is over or the concert is over, the actors or the musicians would come out of the backstage door. And but if you're a groupie or what they used to call it the old days, stage door Johnny.
Yeah.
You ever heard that phrase?
Yeah.
He's a stage door Johnny. And to meet get an autograph, of an actor in a Broadway show, stage door Johnny. So I said, well, let's do that with the adoring female fans. Mm-hmm. And it's backstage. But I wanted to do something grungy, which that sketch shows, And I was explaining it to Ken. I said, well, it's backstage, like a New York theater. It's an old part of New York anyway, a lot of it. The backstage door usually opens out onto an alleyway where there'll be some garbage cans and maybe a few rats running around, I said, so that's I want to do a noir, grunge noir look. I said, it'd be cool for Kiss, I think, give them that kind of feeling. And then all the girls are there begging for autographs or whatever they're doing. We could talk about it. And so he did that sketch, which would have needed a lot of conversation from me to carry that further because I didn't like the composition of it. Too all crowded and stuff. I don't know. I didn't like it. So, but then I guess Bill or somebody or the band saw it and they said, "No, I don't want to be grungy.
No.
I don't want to be rats and garbage. I want to be better." So,
but
okay, have a good.
this one that were in the Love Gun Deluxe, is that somewhere in between then?
I've seen it and I can't remember how it happened or when. Really,
no.
It does seem to be a kind of an in between thing.
Yeah,
at least that's what you'd want it to be, right?
Yeah.
Exactly sure. I know a lot of people. I won't name names. But a lot of people, if you ask them a question about some part of the history, and they don't remember exactly what happened,
no,
they will start to put together in their mind probabilities or possibilities. At that time we could have been this, that, or the other thing, and they'll say, "You know what? Probably we did. We probably did this or that." And if they tell that story twice,
they believe it themselves.
It becomes a memory.
Yeah. It all grew and
it's a memory. And I don't want to say who did that with what project, but
no. But I actually think a lot of Sean Delaney's stories are like that also.
Oh yeah, Sean. Yeah.
But because he had a lot of really great stories, but there's sometimes stuff that just like this is so far out that it's not believable.
Yeah.
Sean was a character from another planet sometimes. I mean, it was a bit larger than life guy, I mean, he was, everything was pretty extreme with him. And, I like Sean a lot because he was talented and he had that energy.
Yeah.
The creative energy was always there with him.
Yeah.
Whether it was good or bad. But he was just always trying, So I remember I saw Sean at one of Richie Rano's Kiss conventions.
Yeah.
And probably one of the last Kiss expos that Richie did. So I went to it and I heard Sean was going to be there. I hadn't seen Sean in many years.
Yeah.
And so I went. Sean looked different. He was getting balder and he had a beard now. And his whole look had changed. He was much beefier.
Okay, so he was still quite large then.
Gained a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But he was wearing a lot of black leather and that old look. So I went up to him, and Sean was like, when I first went up to him, I said, "Sean, Dennis, boy, it's great to see you. Many years." He was like, he backed off a little bit. He's giving me the up and down, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is he doing? What's this greeting I'm getting? And I said, we had a brief conversation. He talked about, he had so many bitter feelings of the past.
Yeah.
So many hard feelings. And I said, "Sean, I worked for Howard Marks. I mean, I know you hated him. I worked for him 22 years. How do you think I feel?" I said, "Sean, I know who the good guys are."
Yeah.
And he put a big smile on his face and gave me a big hug. I said, finally, I broke through, I said, I know who the good guys are. So we had a nice reunion after all.
Yeah. Yeah, he is one of the people I regret not meeting before he passed. It's like, it would be so cool to meet him.
It would. He would never shut up, for one thing.
I know. I have a long video with him that there's some people in the video that doesn't wanted to get online. It's something Roger recorded, and it's like 1.5 2 hours, and he's telling stories, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, he's talking all the time. So
yeah.
Somebody told me a story about Sean where, back in those days, people did drugs, and Sean did. I think cocaine most of the time. And they told me a story. Maybe Sean told me the story. I don't know. Could be. That he was getting a lot of money now. His cut from songs that he may have co-written or whatever, but he was making a lot of money, more than he had ever seen. And he went out and he ordered a new Corvette.
I think it was a Mercedes, wasn't it?
Mercedes?
I think so.
Some expensive car. with a lot of options on the car, and the best. And he never went to pick it up. He paid for it.
Yeah.
He never went to pick it up. He forgot that he ordered it. I don't know what happened to it. I mean, I don't know the end of the story.
No, they sent it back, but the problem is that when they remembered it, they sent it back. But at the point he really needed the car because he didn't have much money. But it was there for about 10 years or something.
Oh, God.
That's crazy.
Oh man, I'm telling you. So there you go.
So no, it's amazing. But back to Love Gun. One thing I've always. Did you take any pictures of the cover before it was finished for merchandise and stuff? Because
you see differences, dude.
Yeah. If you see one of the, I'm not sure if you can see it at all, but you remember the old Pacifica buckles?
Yeah.
Yeah. On the Pacifica buckle, Peter is totally different than on the album cover. The rest of the guys are no, maybe once.
Honest to God, I have no idea how that happened. How did that happen?
Because
it's a good question.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have the bandolier; it has something else.
Yeah, and the face is different on the buckle.
Yeah.
So
That's
and it's the same with one of the ads for the Destroyer album. Also, there's a different Ace face on one of the ads.
I don't know. The merchandising company must have been fooling around with different images and putting them together. That's all I can think of, because it didn't happen in my office.
So, but they couldn't have taken any pictures of them before the album cover was ready?
I don't see how that's possible.
Okay.
I don't see how that's possible. Did we change that costume halfway through the painting? Was it painted one way and then we sent it back and asked Ken to change some costume stuff?
No, that was the Destroyer.
Yeah, I don't remember that happening on Love Gun.
No.
So
but
it must have happened after the fact, and then they fooled around somehow. I mean,
or maybe it didn't come out good as small as this.
Could be.
It's different. It's difficult.
No, his face, he's looking in a different direction.
No, it's just different. It's painted different.
Okay.
Because it's. Can you?
Oh, he's got the bandolier. Yeah, he's got the bandolier, and his face is different. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Because they did the solo album buckles afterwards, and then it's the correct face of Peter.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened.
I love those buckles. I think they look so.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
But Dennis, how involved were you in the merchandising? Were you just sending a whole bunch of artwork to the merchandising company, and they could?
Alexander, that is what happened. Eventually, we just supplied them with imagery and let them do whatever they had to do.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and Bill would have been more involved with what kind of merchandise it's going to be. You know, what image goes on what merchandise, and then the company would handle it.
Okay.
And I was completely hands off. But early on, in the very early days, we were doing some T-shirts and things like that.
Yeah.
The merchandising wasn't full blown yet. We weren't doing sleeping bags and or sheets for the bed. We weren't doing that yet.
No.
All we were doing really was maybe a poster and T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I would do those, but then, like I say, quickly, Bill said, "Well, we don't need Dennis to do that. We'll give it to the merchandising company.
Yeah.
That's their job."
That's their job. Yeah.
That's probably the reason why the same images were used over and over and over then.
Well, absolutely. And also, we didn't have a lot. And also, we like to use the best stuff. Yeah. I don't know how many times I'm crying. Please, I need more photos.
But you said that when you during probably the Love Gun tour book. We'll talk about a little about tour books later. But at the Alive 2 cover, you said you didn't have a lot of pictures, and I find that really strange in one way, because Barry Levine was taking a loads of pictures at the time. I mean, from this, especially when you know the sessions where you have with the cubes. There's an enormous amount of pictures from that session.
You mean from the audience to the stage?
Not live pictures, but from the cube sessions, they did in '77.
When it's standing on the cubes.
Oh, that, yeah. I didn't attend that session. That was Barry. They did it in California, I think. So,
yeah, but they took. There's a lot of pictures from that session.
Right. I don't know. Maybe they were. I don't know.
But how did they do that? Because I know, especially at work, as I do, it's like did they just buy certain pictures from Barry, or did they have all the pictures?
No, I think they would pay for the whole session.
They did,
and you would own everything that came out of the session. Yeah. But Barry may have very possibly withheld some that he thought were not good, and he just didn't think anybody should be seeing this.
No.
Then you get only a certain amount, and then look. Let's say we find a great shot of them standing on the cubes, and we use it for something.
Yeah.
Usually that would be a magazine or a publicity picture.
Yeah.
Not an album cover, So we'd pick it, we send it to the magazine or two. But really, that's it. The life of that shot is over now.
Yeah.
You can't find the second best or another one from the session that's also pretty good and then start using that. It's really, in effect, it's the same picture. They're on the cubes, the lighting. Oh, it's that session. So it's the same. I need something different, not the same.
Okay, so
we would have 200 pictures of them on the cubes, all pretty good pictures.
You can only use one
session,
Yeah.
Okay.
I needed variety.
Yeah.
And
because I know Barry probably sold a lot. You know about the Swedish magazine Poster?
Oh.
It was an incredible poster music magazine, with really real poster paper in. So it wasn't this flimsy thin stuff. And Barry sold a lot of picture to the guy who made that magazine, especially for him. I think Finn Costello also did that. It's like, especially when I remember it now, there was a day in '76 when they were taking a lot of pictures in New York. Were you present there?
When who? Where?
Kiss was taking a lot of pictures in New York with a lot of different photographers.
Street and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Kind of casual. I've seen Central Park.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of inside with the red background and on the motorcycles and.
I don't. And again, I don't know who took some of those.
There's a lot of them.
Goldsmith at all. I never did anything with her.
No, but that was in '78, '79. She took pictures again.
Right, and you were talking earlier.
Yeah, it's a lot. Finn Costello and Barry Levine and a couple of other photographers.
That was probably Bill hiring guys and saying go out and do something.
Yeah,
but. I was always begging for new material.
Before we go further with that, did you make this one?
Nope.
No.
That's not my work.
No.
Okay.
That's for the tour on the Destroyer tour.
Is that a poster for the record store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuke is destroyed. Yeah, that's
Spirit of 76.
promo poster for inside the store. Right. I didn't do that. No.
No. Let's. Love Gun. Was it? How much time did Ken have on the?
You know, I don't want to make up anything that I don't exactly remember. But I know how long it takes to do these things. You know, so you can't give somebody a week to do this like that. You really have to give them a multitude of weeks. So I would say he had about a 3-week deadline, roughly. It could have been a little more. It wouldn't have been much less than that, though. I just know how long it takes. It's a lot of work. It's so much work. You can imagine.
Yeah. And the original painting is quite big.
Yeah,
right?
they're large, you know. So you're covering a lot of territory with that paintbrush, you know.
Yeah.
It's just time.
Yeah.
Just all those faces, you know. All those faces.
It was larger than the Destroyer painting, wasn't it?
I don't know. It seems to me they would have been similar.
Okay.
I remember having Destroyer on my drawing table. Ken brought it in, and there was no varnish on it. He always put what they call a retouch varnish over everything.
Yeah, so it wasn't glossy at all.
No. And because he was late or running late or the deadline. You know, don't forget we had to do that one twice.
Yeah.
So that really ate into his deadline time. So when he brought it and delivered it, he gave me a jar of varnish and a brush.
So you did it.
He said, just put the varnish on. Don't worry, you can't hurt it. I said, are you sure? Because to me it was a masterpiece, you know. He said, no, don't worry. I said, everything's dry. I'm not going to smear anything. No. So I sat there very carefully, made sure all the brush strokes are going in the same direction. You know, you don't want to go like that. So up and down, I'm looking at it, you know. So I put the varnish on Destroyer. Yeah.
Ken has told you the story about where it ended up, the Destroyer painting?
I've heard it from different sources, yeah.
Oh.
That Bill gave it to a neighbor to store or something?
No, I think it was moving, and it was like the moving company. It was like, this is going in the bin, and this is we're keeping that, and the painting went into a container.
That's another case of drug abuse, I think, somehow. Nobody's paying attention.
No.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, nobody's paying attention.
So, but Howard Marks owned it.
Office for a long time, hanging in the conference room. The big gold frame on it, you know. It was like the centerpiece of the conference room.
Yeah.
Howard's agency, yeah.
I've seen pictures of both Vinny and some fans beside the picture in the conference room.
Oh, okay.
So, if we go to photo sessions, so what photo sessions do you remember that you were present for?
Well, you know, I went to the first one.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't have anything to do with designing it, but I was there and trying to help them with their makeup. That didn't work out too well, but it was, you know, especially for Peter. But anyway, I was there for that, and I watched it. And you know, the photographer was a professional; he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
they didn't need to my opinion for anything, so I really just watched, you know, and it looked like it was going very well, you know. And I left when it was over, and that was that. Then the next couple had nothing to do with Dressed to Kill and Hotter Than Hell, had nothing to do with those. And then, of course, Alive came. So then there was Rock and Roll Over, no photo. Then there was Love Gun, no photo. Then what was after that? Creatures? No.
Alive 2.
Alive 2.
Alive 2. Yeah. Anyway, so Creatures. I didn't go to Lick It Up they just sort of handed me that picture. It was like a surprise.
Yeah.
To me.
You were present for the Unmasked shot.
Say again?
When they took the first session they did for Unmasked. It's probably not the first, but the one with Eric Carr.
It's Palladium, right?
Oh, Palladium, yeah.
Yeah, and out in the streets, and when you had the Ace with standing in the...
That over a period of a couple of days, I guess.
Yeah.
Or a week, whatever it took us. We took Ace downtown to 127 John Street in Lower Manhattan by Wall Street, the financial area. And there was a building there. It's not there anymore, I don't think, or at least not. And the entranceway to the building was these hallways surrounded with blue neon. So it looked very futuristic.
Yeah.
And it became, photographers knew about it because it became a location. So, but it wasn't overused, so we did it. And it
was the same thing with the Eric Carr picture, right?
Eric
standing at the fence.
Standing at the fence, Eric Carr.
By the fence and also by the lamppost, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's all on the same night. We took. Well, to finish up with Ace, I said, well, okay, that's nice. The hallway's great and all that stuff. Oh, and Bernard said to me, he said, shooting in there, neon, if I use flash or like a lot of fill light, the neon effect becomes not so great.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the glow. So you have to shoot it without a flash and a little bit longer exposure, then you have what you want. And I said, that's going to be hard with Ace. Be still. And he was really drunk that night. I mean, really drunk. And he used to overdo it when he didn't have to play in concert, just a photo session.
Yeah.
Well, I could be drunk for the photo session. Who cares? But not really, because you can't pose. So he came out of his trailer, with a bottle of champagne in his hand. We're trying to get him to pose. We got a few good shots, but not nearly as what we should have done. And I said to Bill, I said, I know where they sell these. There's a word for it, not mannequin, but it's the artist little guy, and you could put him in different poses, right?
Yeah.
And you draw from that a little wooden. I said, I know where to get full size ones, and they cost, I don't know, $400 a piece or something. I said, let's get a couple of them and spray them silver and make them look them robots, So Bill said, oh, no, he's thinking expense, money, But good old Bill, I'll tell you, art always came. So he said, yeah, let's do it. So they went out and got them, and they had somebody do that without, but it was my suggestion. I had a little ray gun made for Ace to hold, but it was a piece of crap. It didn't come out good. The guy who made it didn't do a good job.
Oh.
So
what's that?
I have no idea where that came from.
It looks like a silver vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that's right. It's R2 Hoover.
Yeah, sort of.
So I guess that was Bernard's doing. He probably took care of that. So we shot what we could of Ace before he fell down and broke the neon. And, I said, I guess that's the end of the photo shoot, huh, boys?
Yeah, there you have the pictures.
There you have the ones with Eric.
Right. Yeah. This is down by old St. Patrick's Cathedral, the first one, which is downtown, sort of in the village, and they have the area grounds of where the church was surrounded with this fence.
Yeah.
And so Bernard knew about that location. He said the fence is nice. And then he also knew about the lampposts, which, I knew they were there, but I never thought of it as a cool location, but it turned out. And the lampposts are on Park Avenue. And if you know Park Avenue, when you're going downtown, and Park Avenue has the divider in between, So it goes down and up. It's a large avenue.
Yeah.
And trees in the middle. When you get down to about 44th Street, there's a building right in the middle of Park Avenue, but there's a tunnel, and you go through the building. It's the underpass, and you like a little ramp, and then you come out the other side, and that's where that lamp is.
Oh, okay.
Side of that lamp, Park Avenue South, they call it.
Cool.
So it's on an elevated portion of Park Avenue, and it's overlooking 42nd Street. So that's what you're seeing there, the famous 42nd Street, and the lamppost, and you're up in the air.
Yeah, and this is one where when the fire marshals came, wasn't it?
When the what came? No, not that one. It's the one with the red background.
Okay.
And we have a little volcano back there. That's it.
Okay, that's the one from '79 then. When
yeah. This was a bigger production to put together, and Bernard did a very good job. Again, we rented space because it was too much for his little studio. Good technician, though, Bernard, and he had a screen where that lightning is in the back there.
Yeah.
Just see. He had a screen set up.
Yeah.
Right, and it was not rear projection, which I thought you would think it would be. You put a projector behind it, and then you can project, and you could see it from the front.
Yeah.
It was the technique they used to use all the time in the movies and stuff. Rear projection. So he had front projection, but somehow it doesn't interfere with the photo because it was synchronized with the shutter. Don't ask me anymore. This is all I remember.
But it looks really good. The lighting is different on the different photos also. So
I guess he had different slides or whatever that he was using. And so when you click the shutter, it would somehow put that image on that screen, but you couldn't even see it happening so fast. Your eye could not register, but it was on the film. Amazing. So he had the gargoyles made. They were made of foam. You could pick them up and throw them around.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture of me with him in the gargoyle?
I have it.
Yeah.
I have two. One, he has his finger all the way up my nose.
Yeah.
And the other one, he doesn't have and I can't find the other one without the finger in the nose. I can't find it.
Yeah, but you also have but okay, this is from '79 then. This is the one with the volcanoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were also present when they did this Dynasty shoot with the straitjackets.
Well,
you
yes.
were also present.
Yes.
What do you remember of that?
First of all, it was shot by Francesco Scavullo.
Yeah.
And Scavullo, as he was known, nobody would ever use the first name, like Cher, Madonna, and Scavullo, And Scavullo was a fashion photographer, and mostly known for doing fashion magazine covers. Cosmopolitan, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, those.
Yeah.
And he did them, and he became rich and famous just doing that. Every famous model posed for him. Bill O'Coin, I think, this is speculation on my part, but I'm not too far-fetched. He wanted to use Scavullo. The reason I think, I never would have picked Scavullo to shoot Kiss. Never. As an art director, I don't put those two together at all. Now, I don't mind using different people to do different things, and you might get a really unusual outcome, like using Ken Kelly or Frazetta to do Kiss, that's a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm going to get. But maybe I could have used someone like, I don't know. I can't think of anybody. That doesn't go with Kiss. But say, I'd love to put those two together just for the wacky difference of it all, But I wouldn't have put Scavullo together. That would have produced what? I don't know. So, but Bill O'Coin wanted to use Scavullo. I think the reason being that Scavullo was famous.
Yeah.
And wanted to have the fame, you know, where we get photographed by the best. So
It's
I went down to Scavullo's. The only you know, I know what he does. He does portraits, just faces for magazine covers. You know.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of whole body stuff, a little bit, but he had the world famous makeup artist working with him, a guy named Wade Bandy. So I said, all right, what we're going to do, we knew it was called Dynasty. So I said, all right, we're going to do these foreheads again. I said, but I like to have their hair, you know, so close that it's just all one big mass of dark hair and then the white faces. And you don't know where one guy begins and ends, as far as hair goes. I said, we'll try for that. And I explained that to Scavullo when I got there. Okay. And he was a funny guy, a little guy. Didn't say much to me about it. Didn't add to the concept. Or did he argue with me about the concept? Nothing. Okay, everything was just okay. All right. And then I said, where's the bathroom? I got to, you know, he said upstairs. I said, okay. He lived there. The studio was downstairs, upstairs. This is near Bloomingdale's, the back, 3rd Avenue in the low 60s over there. Also a strange spot for a studio, but he lived there. So I'm going upstairs to the bathroom. I said, by the way, what should I call you? Scavullo? Francesco? Frank? Mm-hmm. He said, you can call me shithead. I don't care. What kind of response was that? I said, I'll call you Frank. So I came back down, and he used a Hasselblad, you know, a Hasselblad camera, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
20 film. All the fashion photographers use Hasselblads, all of them. And, you know, he had 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and assistants constantly changing the film back, handing them back to him, and constant changing and assistants. And he had, it's, you know, you look through the viewfinder and you turn the lens and you focus. And he had a funny thing. He had a piece of string hanging from the front of the camera. And he picked up the string and he walked over to one of the guys' faces and he put it there. And he went back to the camera and it was like, that's the distance. And maybe he had markings on the string, like this is 4 feet and this is 4.5 feet. Then he put that on the lens because the lens has that calibration on it. It seemed like Matthew Brady in the Civil War. Yeah. You know, with a big view camera and take a piece of string and measure the focus. I said, that's, you know, it's like the olden days. What are you doing? But that was his method. That was his method. At one point, you know, we have this world famous photographer. Paying him, I'm sure, a lot of money. I don't know what we paid him, but it had to be a lot. And we have him for the whole day. We have the band for the whole day, as far as I know. They're not doing anything. And my concept was so simple. Foreheads together, line them up this way, line them up this way, eyes level, noses lining, you know, so everybody's nice and get the hair mushed together. Mm-hmm. Everybody look at the camera now. Open your eyes, because a lot of people tend to do this, you know. They don't realize it. They think they're posing. I say, no, open your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, and it's so hard to get 4 guys just to cooperate at the same time. Gene and Paul were never a problem. They were really good at it. Gene never let down. He was always ready.
Yeah.
Always ready. Even if he didn't have his tongue out or what, he'd just give you that look, you know. Always ready. Paul was pretty good too. The other 2 guys, you never knew what you were going to get.
Okay.
So I'd have to keep saying, look at the camera. Look, become a little more intense. Look right at the camera. Don't forget, when you get that picture, you're looking back at the person looking at it. And it's the fan, and you want to engage them with your eyes. And, you know, that's what we're doing here, fella. You have to always remind people of that, you know. So I'm doing all the talking. But we got what we needed. I mean, that picture was not complicated. not that difficult to do. After a few shots, and I could see that they were looking good. I hear him click the shutter. I know that one's good. And we do more. There's no variety. I'm not saying look up, look down, look this way, look that way. No, it's all the same. All this. After a while, there's no more left to do. I said, I think we got it. But we have the whole day left in front of us. We only spent maybe an hour doing, shooting.
Mm.
Somebody said, let's get straight shots. I don't know who said it. Like they're crazy and they're impossible to contain because they're so crazy. So, all right. So they went down to the hospital and came back.
Okay.
We have a big psychiatric hospital here called Bellevue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's on First Avenue, about 24th Street, 25th Street. People use that as almost generic. They say, "Oh man, you got to go to Bellevue," meaning you're nuts.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Came back to the jackets and we put them on and we took the pictures and we had enough of that and then we shot some with just white leotards.
Yeah.
I don't, this is a case of me not wanting to make up a story that didn't really happen because I thought we shot them with black tops too, but I never saw an outtake with black tops. I don't think.
No, I think it's paintbrush over the straight jackets.
Yeah,
but,
so
but I know they had
took the straight jacket photo and we airbrushed it out.
Yeah. I know they have the white leotards on for the front cover photo.
That I don't remember.
Yeah, but you can see it because there's a version of the album cover that's not paintbrushed, so you can see it on the sides.
White, yeah.
Yeah.
White, okay. They probably didn't bother. We knew it was just going to be faces before we went to the photo studio. So there are no big costumes or anything like that. We did the straight jacket one, but I think later on, when we needed that poster for the inside, and I'm looking at all of our photos, the best faces and expressions were from the straight jacket session.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to use straight jackets at that point. They thought it was bad taste, or like somebody said, "Oh, Nugent did it. Ted Nugent did it," which I had no idea. My memory of why they didn't want to do it was that it was in bad taste for mentally ill people.
Yeah.
Making fun of mentally ill people. So I said, all right, whatever. The beginning of political correctness right there.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of outtakes from the session? Because it's like the only things I haven't seen a lot of outtakes from is the Dynasty album cover session and the Creatures session.
You haven't seen a lot of outtakes?
No.
Yeah, because I think the concept was so well defined that we didn't do a lot of fooling around.
Okay.
Like we're here, let's try this, let's try. No, we didn't do that.
No.
And plus, that gets to be pretty almost amateurish or boring after a while. It's not working.
No.
We're all fooling around. You just start to feel like you're wasting your time. It's better to have a good idea and nail it.
Yeah.
And get that on film. Now, yes, okay, now we have extra time. Now we can maybe play a little bit. And we did that with the straight jackets, but that was it.
But I was also thinking about it when you're talking about the choice for a photographer. It could be that O'Coin wanted to try to do it a little more outside the office, but from what I can see, the Dynasty tour program is the only one during that period that's not made by Howard Marks Advertising.
What does it say?
It's I have to find it here.
Is that a merchandising company?
No. Tour program book design Tony Palladino and Susan Lombino.
Show me the inside.
Inside?
Yeah.
Or do This is the back.
Right. And show me another page. Show me some photograph pages, because I know right away if I did something or if I didn't. Well, I can't say from that one. Can't say from that one. Yeah, this. I don't know. I guess maybe we just gave them photos and they did it. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I don't remember doing that thing with all the album covers and the Kiss, 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 Kiss logo going across it. I don't remember doing that.
Because on the other ones in your period, it's either Dennis Woloch or Howard Marks.
Yeah, okay.
So, but was all the pictures you took for the tour program this one really? Was it taken for that's the one we were talking about with Ace and Eric and stuff, and that's for the Unmasked tour program, I think.
Oh, this was taken down at the Palladium?
Yeah.
Yeah, Palladium.
1978?
No, 80.
1980.
Oh, 80.
Yeah.
Eric's first gig, the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one with the strange airbrush.
Where? Oh, well, I can't see it. You got to hold it up.
Hold it up. Hold it up.
Eric,
Yeah,
if you see Eric there.
Yeah. What's happening with him?
He had a different. It's airbrushed, and it's a really rough airbrush.
Oh, really? Oh, God. Oh. I did not handle that. Believe me.
Because he had a different makeup at the Palladium compared to what he had afterwards.
Yeah, that was another case. I'm so happy somebody handed me that photo of me on the stage at the Palladium with them.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Yeah, I love that. I said, oh my God, I had no idea somebody was taking these pictures. I was so grateful for it because it's a good memory for me,
Yeah.
So it's nice. I remember going down there for that all day long, moving the lights. The reason I was there, I would look at these photos that we would get from concerts. And this guy's standing in the dark. This guy's half in the spotlight. They were unusable. I said, if only the light was on him, I could use these photos, but I can't use them the way they are. And there were so many rejects. So I said, and I'm telling this to Bill. And he said, well, why don't you go down there and they're setting up the lights and you could talk to the lighting guys.
Mm-hmm.
I said, all right. So I talked to the lighting guys. I told them why I was there. I said, here's what I want to do. I said, when Ace comes out and he does a solo, I want to make sure that there's a spotlight on him. Not him just standing anywhere and doing a solo. And then I even told Ace, I said, Ace, if you remember, when you do your solo, that light's going to come on. Go stand in the light for the photographers, if you remember. I said, we'll try to take care of it for you. But so that's what I was doing. I was looking back at the guy with the light and that photograph. I'm on my knees on the stage, and I'm looking back at the guy with the rack. Try, put the light here. This is where he's going to stand. But that day, a long, boring day also. Very hot in there. I kept going around the corner to the local bar on 2nd Avenue. There's a place called The Dugout.
Yeah.
And it was downstairs. One of those places you wouldn't know it was there unless you knew it was there. Little sign, The Dugout. And out there I was getting shots of whiskey, and drinking and eating pickled eggs that they have behind the bar in a jar, the eggs that could have been there from the last Christmas.
Yeah.
But they don't go bad. They're sitting in vinegar. They never go bad. And they're good drunk food. You don't think about it.
Yeah.
So you won't drop dead, but you won't get healthy either. So I'm doing that all day long, and I wasn't really getting drunk because it was a lot of time in between, But and I remember sitting in, was it the Palladium or was it the Fillmore? I think it was the Palladium.
Isn't it the same place?
No.
It isn't?
No. Palladium is on 14th Street.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not there anymore.
No.
Fillmore. And the Fillmore East is on 2nd Avenue and about 7th Street, 6th Street, downtown.
Yeah, because Fillmore East is a bank today.
Yeah, but
It's a bank.
What am I mixing up? The Palladium?
I think the Palladium was actually the old Academy of Music.
Yeah, that's
Academy of Music became Palladium.
Yeah, I'm just mixing them up.
Yeah, it's easy to do that.
I was sitting in the audience area of the Palladium at some point when I wasn't really doing anything. And there was a kid next to me, a teenager, maybe 13, 14. And I'm sitting next to him, and we're looking at the guys rehearse or whatever they were doing. And I said, "What's your name?" And he told me. And I said, "My name is Dennis." I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Well, my father is the manager of this place, the caretaker. He takes care of it." I said, "Oh, okay." And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at the floor, and every second row going towards the stage, there's like a grate, an open grating in the floor. And I said, "What's that? That's odd to see in the floor." He said, "Years ago, there's chutes down there. They used to put blocks of ice on the chutes.
Yeah.
Ah.
All the chutes, all under the audience. And then they would have fans. And the fans would blow the cold air up into the audience before air conditioning."
Yeah.
And then if you look at old pictures of movie theaters, it won't say air conditioned. It'll say air cooled.
Yeah.
Air cooled. And that's the way they did it.
Cool.
And that was in the Palladium, yeah. I remember that. And so that was my day there, and I got that nice shot of me with Eric. And I have a ticket. I didn't go to the show that night.
You didn't?
I didn't go. I think at that point I was, the word is, what's the word? Jaded? Jaded? Yeah. You'll look it up. But been there, done that.
Yeah.
So I said, do I really want to go down and look at these guys again? I don't know. And no, laziness takes over.
Yeah.
So I didn't go. I probably should have gone, but I didn't go. But I had a ticket, and I still have the ticket.
Cool.
Unfortunately, I was going to just sell it or give it to somebody, but the part of the ticket where they stamp the date and the venue, like sort of in a purple ink pad stamp thing, disappeared over the years.
Oh.
It just faded away. So it's like a blank area on there now.
Oh, so, that's too bad.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't say Palladium, and it doesn't say September 1980 or whatever it was,
Just going back to tour books, is this one the first you did for them?
Yeah, I think so. What year?
That's there's two from 76, one from the Destroyer tour and one from the Rock and Roll Over tour.
I remember doing it and thinking, isn't it great how big it is, or we're making this so big,
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody was doing anything that large, but we did.
And they changed all the poll pictures from... that's the difference between the two. They changed all the poll pictures in the Rock and Roll Over one from the Destroyer.
Oh, I see.
So why they did that, it's probably Paul being Paul. The second one was this one.
What about it?
That was the second one you did.
I see. Yeah, right.
That's a great one.
Yeah. Nice and big, nice and powerful, nice and graphic. In your face.
Yeah, sure.
And you have the Bob Gruen picture on the back.
Yeah,
that's a great shot.
I wouldn't have picked it, but okay.
And actually, this is the picture I was talking about. I met that guy on the cruise.
What guy?
The Japanese guy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He looks 10 years younger than me now, so that's strange.
Oh dear.
I really like the middle here.
What do you like?
I like the middle. The middle spread.
Yeah. The world will never be the same.
That's a great ones. Great shots.
And I love that font. It's like
That's kind of advertising, influence on what we did for them.
yeah. So after that you had the Dynasty one you didn't do, and the Unmasked we have looked for, and then it was this one when they just gave you the.
And I really had nothing to do with it. Yeah, and I don't like it.
You don't like it?
We love it.
I don't like it. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I know they had a tank on the stage, and they had to make some kind of connection, but
you did everything inside, or?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. If I recall. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's with a humongous tongue.
Yeah. Oh my God. I gave the retouchers a picture of Gene to retouch, and it had his tongue out, and he was like, waist up kind of picture, and it's I think it's the Love Gun costume, the one with the ring and then the chains come off.
Yeah.
And so I gave the retoucher 2 prints. Usually we give them 2. I say this is the best print, but if you mess it up, you have a backup. So I usually did that, and they were dye transfers. The really expensive paper print. The whole process is almost like printing. You put down one color, then you put down another color, and somehow it comes together as full color. Dye, actual dye. It's fantastic, and the quality is way better than regular paper color prints that you would ordinarily get. Way better. Yeah. But they cost, a big print was $300 in those days. Big enough to retouch.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. And, you would never get a dye transfer unless it was absolutely necessary. If you needed invisible, really retouching. And it was a whole different process. They didn't use airbrush. They used bleach and dye.
Okay.
Would bleach areas, and they were able to take color away, then add color, and then bleach that and back and forth. And it was as though it was part of that photograph. You couldn't, if you looked at it at an angle with the light, you couldn't see anything. It's perfect. And in the hands of a real craftsman, and we had some good retouchers. They would do these the beauty shots for the big magazine covers. I mean, they were perfect. So this guy, because they had extra time on their hands, they did what they had to do with Gene's picture, which was minimal stuff, regular stuff, smooth out some bad skin and whatever. But he took his tongue on the other one, on the backup print.
Yeah.
And he extended it all the way down to the ring, and it went in the ring, like that. And it was phenomenal. He had every little pore on the tongue and every little crack and fissure and dot that you would see on the tongue. I guess that's in the collection now of somebody's warehouse over there in the Kiss land, because it was part of our stuff, But it was cool. I wish I had a reproduction of that. Hey, you froze, Alexander. There we are.
Okay, then Alexander is back again.
Yeah.
I'm so tiny.
Are you tiny now? Oh, in the corner.
Right, whatever.
Yeah.
Skype is a funny thing. It has its own life.
Yeah.
So the next book is this one. It's almost the same. You don't remember it?
I don't want to.
Okay.
It actually.
Unless inside is nice. I don't remember.
It inside it's fine. It's cool.
Okay, right? Yeah.
It's
they're basically the same. They're picture books, and we just want to get a lot of pictures in there.
Yeah, but it's like Gene still looks cool.
Right.
So but that's not a tour book. What I have to find here. I'm not sure if it did this one, but I really love this promo poster, in-store poster.
Nice photo.
That's a great one.
And that was also a session you were at.
Say again?
That was a session where you were present.
Yeah, oh yes. I have a nice shot of me with the band.
Yeah.
Gene's going to touching my mustache.
But
And Laurie Greenan was there. That
Yeah.
day.
I have a photo here
There it is.
with you and the band.
There it is.
Yeah. That's a great
I
one.
like that. That's a great shot of
Yeah.
one of my favorites of me with the band. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That other shot is good. Camera angle. He got below eye level. You know.
Okay.
Oh, the one you like. So they look imposing and big. And it's a good tip for amateur photographers. Don't shoot down at people. It looks terrible. Makes everybody look like they have short legs. And you know, always get low to about belt time. You don't have to be shooting up. You don't have to be shooting up, but right in the middle someplace. But if you shoot down, it looks terrible.
yeah.
And that's why that shot works.
So
Angle.
just take the other one. This was the one you made for the American version of the Lick It Up tour book. That's not without the tank.
Without the...
It's not on the European version. You
without
still
the
had the
tank.
tank. This is
Yeah, yeah,
without the tank, and I think.
And I like the look of that.
Yeah.
I like the look of that. Yeah. And
And then you had the two versions of the Animalized.
World Tour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark St. John, my God.
Yeah.
And
Bruce.
boy, oh boy, you forget how many people came and went, but he wasn't there too long. Oh, the back of that? Yeah. This is a girl that lived in my apartment building.
Okay.
Her name was Phyllis.
Yeah.
And one day we're in the elevator together, and she's pushing the elevator button, and she has these long red fingernails, And I guess I already kind of knew what I was going to do for that.
I have it.
Back up. There you go. And
This is.
I didn't do that.
No.
I did not do that. That's a case of them taking my artwork and purposes.
Yeah. It's an in-store for the Animalized video.
Yeah, they didn't do a great job with it.
So the next one this is the one. I think Vincent had a lot to do with this one, didn't he?
No, he had a lot to do with
The photo session.
Crazy Nights.
Chris Knights. Okay.
Oh, okay.
No,
Because-
that one had a lot to do with that. I took a week off vacation.
Yeah.
22 years. I had 4 weeks off. I never got sick, and I never took a vacation. 22 years, 4 weeks. One time I went to Europe. I went to Europe twice.
Yeah.
There were 2 weeks each time. And that was it. And then 1 week I met this beautiful girl. And she's becoming my girlfriend. And I knew a guy that had a trailer that they lived in sometimes in the summertime, like a little summer place. And when they weren't in it, they would just lock it up. And it was out on Long Island, way out by past Sag Harbor and Amagansett, way out on Long Island, where a lot of people vacation by the ocean. And there was a little place where trailers were. And he said, "You can have my trailer for like $100 for the week." I said, "That's a bargain." So I told the girl, and she said, "Oh, let's do it. Let's do it." So I said, "Woo! A chance to live with this beautiful girl in a trailer." And I hadn't had a vacation ever, So I announced to the boss, I said, "I'm going to take a week off." Oh, my God. Oh, the hair pulling and the hand wringing. And, "Well, where are you going? Well, when are you coming back? well, yeah, all of this. I said, I could take a little time for myself. Well, we're going to be coming out with this album, and you know, I already had an idea for the album for the Asylum.
Yeah.
Because Paul was talking to me about it, you know, and I said, so I was already out there in the trailer, and I'm on the phone with the office. I said, look, hire a photographer. It doesn't matter who it is. I said, take black and white pictures of each guy's face. I said, the lighting, just flat lighting. No, nothing special. Take a picture this way, straight on. Take a picture 3/4 to the right. Take a picture profile all the way. Then take a picture 3/4 left, profile all the way. Each guy, 5 pictures. That's it. Okay? And make some prints. Okay? I'll be back next Monday. So I came in, I took the pictures that I found, the pictures that I wanted. I didn't know what I was going to be using. Wound up, I used pretty much straight on ones. And, you know, and I put together that album cover that way.
Yeah. But I was thinking of the program.
Uh,
Yeah, well, the program is that. That's the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's gigantic.
it's not as large as the Crazy Nights one.
Oh, no, not as large.
No, I have the Crazy Nights one. This is huge.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's big.
That's right. Yeah,
That's the last one with the whole.
Right, yeah.
And
All right.
and they used the same size for 2.
I honestly barely remember that. I'm wondering if I did it.
It's
No, we did. So the inside is all broken glass pictures, right?
No. It's like this.
No. Show me something else. No. We had other. There must be another book. Oh, okay. There's the broken glass.
Yeah.
Is there any more with broken glass?
Yeah. The pictures of them were.
Yeah. Is there only one of these that you know of in your mind?
Yeah. The other one is from Japan, and that's after they stopped using open marks.
That's odd. Yeah, that's odd. All right. Well, but I remember Vinny working hard on the inside, taking the photostats of the broken glass pieces and numbering them on the transparency, the original art, and then making corresponding numbers on the photostats for the book, and cutting them out and sticking them down. And it was a big pain in the ass job. Big pain in the ass job.
Yeah, because
he did work hard on the inside. The cover not of the Crazy Nights. I don't even remember that cover, but of the Asylum, that was me.
Yeah.
Vinny and I did this together. Maybe. Show me something. Something from the beginning. Yeah. Well.
He's beautiful there, isn't he?
He always, when he tries to look mean, he looks sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem.
You can't bring it off.
The problem is he's trying to look sexy, and Gene isn't sexy.
Doing it again over there. Yeah, he tried to look tough. I'm a tough guy.
What's on my list after that?
Of it, Nils. There was one of those we had to do almost overnight to get to the printer.
Yeah.
And Vinny and I were breaking our asses, and we were using these. I don't know if you remember from the early graphic days, but we had Zipatone.
Yeah.
You remember Zipatone? We had dots and different patterns and things you could use.
Yeah.
So we were just taking Zipatone and sending it out and making photostats and blowing it up, all these different patterns, and using it for background. And then putting the photos on top. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Like that. But I remember more than that, but that's all I'm saying. So what can I say?
Yeah, you have him like green here.
Yeah.
And
we just did the photos, and it was all fast. We probably stayed late one night.
Yeah,
and then,
there is a different pattern on each of the colors.
Yeah. It was an overnight job. And I don't know why it had to be that kind of a deadline. But then I think I flew down to Tennessee or someplace where they were printing that. And I had to okay it as it was coming off the press, you know. They didn't need for that. I did that a few times. I did that for Rock and Roll Over. That's a story.
Yeah.
And I did it for Asylum, which was a shame. Because everybody said the black on Asylum is not black enough. Didn't come out black. And the printers kept telling me, well, that's in the film. It's in the film. It's in the artwork. The artwork wasn't black enough or whatever. And I'm going, and my job was to okay the work, but make sure it was quality at the same time. And it was in Chicago. And they were using a web press. If you know the difference between web printing and 4-color offset press, web prints 5 times faster.
Yeah.
Just flying off the press.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know how many impressions from this, but it's a lot. So I'm there. I don't have the authority from my people to stop the press, change the plates, change the film to make it better. Because that would take a few hours.
Yeah.
Literally, they don't have these hours. How deadlines get to be this tight, I don't know. But it's somebody's fuck up.
It's always like that, I guess.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. So I'm not allowed to stop the press, but I got to make sure the job is good anyway. Well, the job is coming out not perfect, and there's nothing I can do unless I stop the press and change the film or change the plate or something. But I can't. So I keep saying to the pressman, can you pump up the black a little bit? He said, I've got it all the way. It's going to start running on the image if I do it anymore. So that's it. I said, okay, that's it. I signed it and I went back to New York. And then the next thing I know, Paul is standing there in the art department with one of the printed albums. Why isn't the black darker? So, well, I tried.
Yeah.
I tried. And I know you don't care about the details, Paul.
I've seen Eraldo Cargotti, the guy who painted the solo album pictures. He painted a picture of Ace also. Was for his birthday. Do you know if he did anything more for them?
No, I was a little bit unaware of that. Although I might be coming back to me now that you're saying it. I didn't. Another case of I start something.
Yeah.
And then O'Coin takes it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can call this guy. I don't need Dennis to call him. So, hey, do a picture of Ace. So I don't know how it happened. I know they had a guy named Kim Whitesides.
Yeah.
Do something for Peter Criss's birthday or some occasion for Peter Criss.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful airbrush painting of Peter in his makeup, and then Peter not in his makeup, and then Peter maybe playing the drums. It was like 3 airbrush and melting montage. A beautiful job. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And Peter, as I understand it, just never took it home.
Wow.
Never liked it, never acknowledged it hardly. Oh, what's that? Oh, one of those things. I don't get it, these guys. I don't get them. Where's their feelings? Where's their feelings and their heart on these things? But, again, it could have been drugs, and they just didn't give a shit about anything. And I think they sent it back to Kim Whitesides. I think he has it now, the artist.
You did this so
about it.
You
he didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't order that. It was
no okay.
Yeah,
did Peter's solo albums after he left Kiss also?
Did he do what? What?
Did you do Out of Control and Let Me Rock You for Peter?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Out of Control was what's his name? I'll think of it in a minute.
I can probably find that.
I know his name. I remember Mike.
But Out of Control is a great cover, I think. I mean, I really like that.
I'm glad you like it. I have mixed feelings about it, you know?
Okay.
I see things I would like to do different, but, otherwise, a good try, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I got a lot going on.
Todd Shore.
Todd Shore, yeah. And
Yeah,
Todd,
that's the name.
Todd was very well known at the time. He was out there. His work was everywhere. I think he retired from commercial art. I think he does his own thing now. Todd seemed a little pissed off during that whole thing. I brought him down to David Spindel's studio. David, photographer who shot The Elder, the side and the door. And David was a photographer I had used many years for all other, advertising jobs that we did. So he was a good, versatile guy to work with, and we knew each other for a long time. So I said, David, I need reference photographs for this painting that Todd Shore is going to do. And it's going to be an exploding jukebox and people running away from it, teenagers, and like a horror movie almost, And so we gotta light them, and you gotta get them in poses. And, yeah. So, and Todd Shore came to the shooting, which, of course, he should, because he's the guy who's going to paint this.
Yeah.
And so I'm being an art director, and I'm sort of telling people what to do. And I think Todd was getting annoyed at me because he's the guy who's going to paint it. You know what I mean? So I shut my mouth. All right, Then every once in a while I'd go, no, that's terrible. You don't look like you were afraid. Please look like you were afraid. And Todd's going, and he was getting all pissy and all prickly, working with these prima donna artists. But he did a very good job. He worked hard. He got paid. That's all I know. I don't think he had a good experience, though.
Was one of them Deborah, Peter's wife?
Yeah, that's right in front.
Yeah, her.
Yeah, and this kid right above her, that kid, right above her head.
Yeah.
Michael Clark.
Okay.
Okay.
The son of my bartender.
Really? That's funny.
He used to come to the bar all the time. Michael, I think, wanted to be an actor or something. I don't know.
But I really like this one. And in one way, it has a little of the same mood as the Unmasked cover, I think.
Which cover?
Unmasked.
Unmasked.
Yeah.
You're unmasked, you say.
Yeah.
That's unmasked. That's why I'm not getting it. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same kind of mood.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And Victor Stabin, another pretty popular illustrator of the day. Yeah. I saw some of Victor's work. I really loved it. And in the back of my mind, I had a lot of talent in my head that I said to myself, if only I get the opportunity someday and the right project comes along, not Kiss, anybody. I want to use this talent because they're so great. And it's quite a luxury for an art director to have that kind of budget.
Yeah.
To be able to fund these people. Half the time you have to do it yourself or use somebody who's cheap or bring it together somehow without great talent. It's difficult.
It's all about the money, I guess. I mean,
a lot of it is all about money. That's true.
Yeah.
So, and Victor, for the problems that I had with that job, they weren't enormous problems, but they were problems. And but he did a wonderful job. I mean, I liked the job. I liked the artwork. Whatever else you want to say about it, you can say. Like maybe you don't like the concept, or I know some people hate the guy saying I think they stink. But we try something a little.
Yeah, I actually thought that was cool when I was a kid. So it's like, but was it your concept, the idea with the jukebox?
Nah, that came out of a conversation.
Okay.
So kind of idea by committee. But the committee was Peter, Criss, and me, and maybe that's all. I don't know.
Yeah. You did this one also?
Yeah. And there was a girl that I was dating, sort of. It always comes around to girls and bars and gambling. I didn't get to the gambling yet, But this beautiful, beautiful girl, blonde girl. She's trying to be a model, and she was absolutely beautiful enough to be a model, but she never made it. But she knew a photographer that had done some, free work for her portfolio. So she said, "Why don't you use him? Why don't you use him?" And maybe she needed a favor from him, and so she knew that if I connected with him a paying job, that maybe she would get a kickback that I didn't know about. I don't know, but his name was Trevor Brown, I believe, and he did some fashion stuff and what have you. And I looked at his portfolio. I said, "Well, he's a professional." I said, "Why not? This is not a complicated picture. We're going to try some things." This was a case of going into the studio with no concept.
Yeah.
Idea. Just Peter's face. I mean, we knew it was going to be that. Peter.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have done that on the first one, but we didn't. So now we're doing it. And then he got the idea, let's make him wet. I said,
yeah.
Okay, I don't know why, but okay, let's make him wet. So we made him wet. That's all we used.
But this was supposed to be the front.
The cover.
But because in Scandinavia, at least, this ended up as the front cover.
Oh, I see. That's the outtake. Yeah, different picture. That's all. No, the other one is the.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't released in the States.
Oh.
So I think on the German version, I think this is the front cover, and on
the proper cover, yeah.
And here in Norway, at least, probably Sweden also, this was the front cover.
Yeah, that was the front cover. Yeah, for sure.
but it could be that this shows his whole face, so let's show how he looks, because
maybe and his eyes are closed on the other one.
Yeah, but this isn't a really nice picture. But nobody knew how he looked at the time, so he at least here. So it's probably to sell it a little bit more, I guess.
Peter was very happy with it because we did a lot of retouching.
Yeah,
and it made him look quite nice. His teeth were not that color. We made him nice and white, and
When it comes to Peter, in the last day, there popped up a lot of pictures from Peter and Deborah's wedding.
I didn't.
You didn't? You weren't there?
I was invited, but I didn't go.
Okay, because I know Vincent was there.
I went to his wedding party that they had, just a special party they had at Regine.
Yeah.
Regine was the disco. All the beautiful people would go there. It's on Park Avenue, about 57th Street. And I went with the girl, the model who turned me on to the photographer for his company. Yeah. I took her. She was a beautiful girl, but she was a space cadet,
Yeah.
Space cadet. So, not stupid, but I don't know what it is with these girls. So I go to pick her up on the west side. And I think it was black tie. I mean, tuxedo. So I have my tuxedo on. I told her, I said, do you have a dress for evening? Yeah, I have one. Okay. So I go to pick her up. But she was like a vagabond. She'd never had her own place. She's always poaching on other people's goodwill.
Yeah.
Staying at their apartment for a couple of months, going to somebody else's, She never really had any money. So she's on the west side, somebody's apartment. So I go there, and she was visiting with somebody in a different apartment when I got there. And then I get there, and now she can't open the door to her apartment. She's locked herself out. And she doesn't have her dress on yet. And it's late. And we're supposed to be at this regime and this big hoop-de-doo with all these people there. And you don't know how pissed off I'm getting now, because you could just predict this is going to happen. with this kind of person. And she said, I called the landlord and I said, I need the emergency key to get into the apartment. He said, you only should call me when it's an emergency. And she said, it is an emergency because this guy Dennis is going to kill me if I don't. Which was true. So she ran in, just threw the dress over her head, went like that with her hair, put some shoes on, and off we went, you know. And we get to Regine's, and we're there about an hour.
Mm.
All of a sudden, somebody comes through Regine's, paging her. Paging Miss Karen Allison, paging Miss... Telephone. You know, she had herself paged.
Wow.
To make herself look important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, she must be somebody. She's getting phone calls at the party, you know. She had one of her friends call her and page her down there.
Crazy.
That's what I remember. That's what I remember. Otherwise, a pretty forgettable night, really.
It was. You once went to Neil Bogart's place in California also, didn't you?
Yeah. That was that California trip that I had to go to Fresno, first stop.
Yeah.
And they were doing a concert in Fresno. I was there for a night or something. Then we hopped on a plane and we went down to San Diego. There for 3 nights, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They might have done more than one concert down there. I don't remember, you know. And then they went up to L.A. to the Forum.
That's when you took the Alive to fold out picture with Barry Levine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry had this camera. I remember saying, what the hell kind of camera is that? And it looks kind of like 35 millimeter shape, but it was bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it shoots, I forgot what he called it. He had a word for it, you know, maxi film or something. But it shoots 120 wide, but not 120 high or something. So it was a funny format, but it was bigger than 35, almost like Hasselblad, you know.
Mm.
But yet portable. So he was using that camera. And yeah, we were there right in the middle of the audience, sort of by where they do the sound mixing.
Yeah.
Usually soundboard, sort of right in front of that. Fire! Boom, click. Fire! Boom, click. And we didn't know what we're getting because not digital. You know, if it's digital, we can look at it and say we got it.
Yeah.
No, you don't know.
But you got it.
Yeah, you got it, big time.
Eventually, you could kind of tell.
Hmm.
You kind of tell. Oh no, that didn't. You know, well, we weren't timing it well. So yeah, that was that trip. A lot of things on that trip. Well, one thing I remember very specifically because I almost had a nervous breakdown was we needed pictures.
Yeah.
We needed photography. So I hired, what's his name? to do it. I'll give you his name. Reed Miles. Reed was a photographer. Before he was a photographer, he was an art director and graphic designer for Blue Note Records. Blue Note Records did all of the jazz, the great jazz artists of history. You know, Dizzy Gillespie and, Louis Armstrong, everybody, all the great ones. And he was the art director of that record company. So he got to design all those album covers. And what he did with no budget and no money was fantastic. Because it was all one terrible black and white photo. That's all he had to work with. And he would do something with it, do something with the typography, especially the typography. And he made beautiful covers. But then he became a photographer, and he moved to California, and photographer. So, and he was doing stuff, and I saw his photography work, and it was also excellent. He did a lot of work for Chicago, band Chicago. So I hired him either through Bill a coin or not, because Bill knew who he was. So we kind of collaborated or agreed on him or something like that. And I was talking to Reed for a couple of weeks before I went out on this trip, because we picked the date. It's going to be between the two concerts that they had. They had a day off. And we were going to go to his studio, and he was going to have it all set. And he rented all the original, from the original 1930 movie, Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the great electrical stuff that goes like that, whatever they call that thing.
Yeah.
Tesla coil, I think they call it. And all the contraptions. And he had a dungeon wall. He brought in dirt. He put dirt on the floor of his studio. And that table for the experiments. And I said, look, I don't know what we're going to do with these guys, but I want to have at least this crazy, interesting background. I said, one of the guys is a spaceman. I said, maybe we could levitate him in the set so he could be floating. Gene is the monster guy. He could be doing something. Paul, I don't know, Peter, but we'll think of something, So he's getting all the stuff. He's sending me Polaroids and notes, what he's doing. And then I get the word from Kiss, before I go out there, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. It's our only day off. We don't want to take this picture. And I'm begging, I'm through Bill. I'm saying, oh, you got to get him. The guy is going through all this trouble. And we need pictures. God damn it, we need pictures, and good pictures. Concept pictures like this. This is great. So I think he talked him into it. Okay, it's on. I call Reed back. I go, okay, it's on. It's on. It was off yesterday, but it's on today. And we did that twice, I think, from New York. Finally, it was on. It's on. So I go out there. I'm backstage now at the Forum. Cheap Trick is on stage doing their set. They were opening, and Kiss was backstage or below stage. Stage was right above us. Backstage is under stage, So I'm there. There's Kiss, the four of them. They're now saying we don't want to do it. It was the next day that we're going to do it. And we don't want to do it because they can't get a consensus.
No.
Two guys wanted to do it, two didn't. Guess.
Yeah, Gene and Paul won.
So I'm back there with Kiss, with Bill Aucoin, and with Howard Marks, my boss, the triumvirate of power, and me. And Howard goes, well, you need pictures, and you really should do it, and, blah, blah, blah. And they're going, no. And Bill says, you guys, we don't have enough pictures, and this guy's a wonderful photographer. No. Then Paul, then Bill and Howard both turn to me, and they go, Dennis? Like it's my turn now to convince them. I did my best. I said, I'm out of pictures. Every time somebody asks me for a picture, I'm looking through the same pile of fucking pictures. I'm tired of it. I'm giving them the same shit. We need pictures. This guy's a great photographer. We have the Frankenstein stuff. It's amazing. No. That was it. I had to go find a phone, 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, whatever. I had to go find a phone. I get Reed Miles. I said, Reed, it's Dennis Woloch. It's off. And I said, it's off. No kidding this time. It's really off. And he's just, I don't know, I guess he said, oh, shit, And I said, send me a bill. And he sent me a nice, hefty bill for all the stuff he had to rent, all the time he had to put in. They paid it. That was it. I was really kind of angry, and it tested my nerves. I mean, the pressure was over the top.
But after that, did Neil Bogart have a party at his place, or what?
Neil Bogart. That's how this train of thought started.
Yeah, but that's no.
Well, Neil was living in Bel Air.
Yeah.
Which is the fancy part. That's even better than Beverly Hills. And they had me in a hotel called I'll think of it. What's the name of a art museum in Russia? I think it's
good question.
It's something.
I know it's in Saint Petersburg.
It's kind of a name like that. That was the name of the hotel. Yeah. I don't think they call it.
Okay, I know what museum you are thinking about. Yeah, it's a French name, isn't it?
It was in Bel Air. We were some of the first people in the hotel. It was brand new. Not big, not real big. Nice part of town, tucked away. It was the first time I ever saw when they get, instead of a key, you got a card for your door. I hadn't seen that before. That was brand new. And one of the things I had to do while I was there was I had 3, remember the carousel slide projector?
Yeah.
We call it the carousel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A circle like that you put on it. They hold either 80 or 100 or 140 slides, depending on what tray you put on.
Yeah.
I had 3 trays with 140 slides. Well, I didn't have the slides. I had envelopes full of slides, and I had empty trays. And Bill O'Coin said, load them up into the trays, and the band is going to come over later at 3 o'clock, and we're going to look at slides, and we're going to make some selections. So I said, okay. That was not a lot of time. I had no equipment. I had no loop. I had no light table.
No.
I was in a hotel room. So I take the slide, I hold it up to the window. You have to put it in upside down. And you have to put it in emulsion side forward.
Yeah.
So I'm finding the emulsion, and I go upside down forward. Okay, emulsion side, upside down. And I'm trying to segregate them. These are Ace. This is Peter. This is Peter. This is him and him too. This is Ace and Paul together, and I'm trying to do that so that they're all completely mixed up. I'm trying to do a good job. And I load 140, 140, 140, and we didn't have a locking ring. There is a ring you put on that you can lock so that if you can handle the tray and they'll stay put.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the ring, so that's okay. So then Bill O'Coin comes into the room before the meeting, and he picks up the tray and he turns it upside down. Fucking slides fly all over the room. I look at him. Oh, I'm sorry. They're going to be here in 5 minutes. But do you know how long it took me to segregate these and put it? Oh, for Christ's sake. So I quickly, emulsion side upside down, emulsion side upside down, Paul G and a fuck it. And then, and I put them in. And now I'm showing the slides. And here's the side of Ace I never saw before. He came in, I'm showing the slides, and one of them of Ace, and it comes in, it's upside down. Who the fuck loaded these fucking slides? Wasting my fucking time. Here, the fucking upside down, wasting my fucking time. Don't grow up to be an art director. No reward. What are you supposed to do? Take him aside and say, your boss did that, not me.
Yeah.
I can't turn to Bill O'Coin and say, yeah, asshole, see what you did?
To just do like this.
All on me, I'm the jerk who put it in upside down. 200, 300 slides. And he saw one that was upside down, So that was my trip. It was Ace yelling at me, me canceling read miles 4 times. My heart was up in my throat. I felt like such a jerk calling him that last time. I felt like such a jerk. What could I do?
So you didn't have any fun at Bogart's place then afterwards?
A what?
When you went to Neil Bogart's place, you had fun?
tell you about Neil. Let me tell you about this.
Yeah.
So Neil invited us over for a party. Party, get together. And it wasn't a big party. It was just us folks, and whatever. I don't remember who was there, really. And he sent a limousine for us, picked us up at the hotel, went over. I had my wife with me on that trip. I was married then. Brief marriage. Brief marriage. I think we were married at that point. Yeah, I think so. And I asked the boss, I said, can I bring my wife? I'm going to be there for 10 days. I said, look, I'll pay for the airfare and everything, but I'd just like to have her around when I'm not doing anything. Maybe he paid for everything. He was nice about it. He paid for it. Yeah, bring her. So we went to Neil's house. I don't remember anything much about his house.
No?
Because he had a house in the back of his house, which was his fun house, his game room.
Yeah.
So he had pinball machines in there and other games you could play, So we spent a lot of time in there. Pulling around. It was just a lovely visit. Neil was a sweet guy, just kind and, kind of low key and a nice man. He was really a nice man. And, he married Joyce from our office. Her maiden name was Biowitz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like a receptionist for a while, and then she became up the ladder or something with Bill, and then finally, she married Neil Bogart when she met him. They hit it off and they got married.
Yeah.
I lost track of Joyce. I'd love to contact her just to say hello, but she got married to a doctor or something, and her name is different now. And I tried looking her up, and I couldn't. The last time I came to Howard Marks's funeral.
Yeah, but she was in one of the VH1 documentaries about Kiss also.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So
the one I was in, was it when Kiss ruled the world?
Yeah, it was one of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was in that for about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I didn't
Okay.
These people are supposed to be professionals, but it winds up to be all young 20-somethings doing this, running the camera and running the interview. And I swear to God, I don't think they really have the experience to do it sometimes.
No.
So basically, they just kind of turned the camera on me. Didn't really ask me a lot of pertinent questions, and it was like, I have a lot of stories, but I wasn't getting to them.
No.
Of what they were asking me, so I don't know what they were after. So finally, they said, "Well, thank you," and I'm thinking to myself, "Well, thank you. I didn't even give you anything."
No.
Wait a minute, and then I said something that triggered something, and that's the part they used.
Okay.
That's the part they used.
Yeah.
That last thing that before I said goodbye, I said, "Well, let me just say this," and I said it, and then that's the part they used. I don't know what they wanted though. There was like very amateur time, I thought.
But it was probably a little bit like the end of the music industry. It already started to kick in at that point. So now it's just totally dead.
I was leaving that building. There's a big high-rise on Broadway, I think. And I left it, and I was walking out across the plaza area, and there's Bill O'Coin coming in to do his. Yeah. He said, "Oh, Dennis, I saw Bill. I just did the thing. You're going to do the thing, yeah." So I told him, it's on the 30 whatever floor. That was it. It was funny. I saw Bill. It was not the last time I saw him, but it was one of the last times I saw him.
Yeah.
I think this is a nice place to end it for this time. Good long.
Yeah,
good
long
talk.
episode. Yeah.
Boom. So we just want to thank you very much for your time, Dennis, and we'll end up as we always do with keep on kissing.